Invisible Clues, the Silent Language. Episode 7, Private Tabs and Hidden Apps, Investigating the Digital Footprint. Welcome back to the Silent Language. I'm Roger Warstone. In the first 6 episodes, we meticulously build a profile of behavioral changes, emotional extremes, and scheduling shifts that signal a deep problem in your partnership. We began with intuition, the quiet sense that something is off. We moved through communication breakdowns, unexplained absences, changes in appearances and intimacy, and then into the emotional extremes of anger and overcompensation. Last week in episode 6, we emphasized the need to rule out false trails, distress caused by medical issues, mental crisis, or personal midlife reckoning rather than an affair. Now we enter the arena where most modern affairs leave their clearest, most undeniable mark: the digital world. Your partner might be a master of calm explanations and smooth stories and control emotions, but devices, apps, and accounts are different. They are log, sync, track, and remember. They create a record that is much harder to fully erase. This episode is difficult because we have to talk about snooping. Looking around at a partner's phone, email, or accounts is a profound breach of trust. Under normal circumstances, it is not healthy and is not appropriate. However, if you have accumulated multiple signals from episodes 1 through 5, and you have sincerely ruled out the major distress factors from episode 6, you are no longer operating on simple suspicion. You are responding to a pattern of deceit. When one partner is actively hiding a separate life, the boundary of privacy has already been breached by their actions. The relationship agreement has been broken. You are now seeking clarity in the wreckage. Today, we focus on advanced digital signals, the footprints and fingerprints left behind by a hidden life. These are the clues that are harder to explain away as stress, depression, or midlife crisis. They are the behaviors that move you from "I feel something is wrong" into "I can see it in front of me." This is not about obsessively dissecting every notification. It is about recognizing a pattern of deliberate concealment. Before we go further, one quick reminder: laws about access to devices, accounts, and surveillance vary by country and state. This podcast is not legal advice. You are responsible for knowing what is legal where you live and for choosing methods that align with your personal ethics and safety. This segment is the phone app behaviors, the digital fortress. The first place deception builds a fortress is right in your partner's hand, their phone. For most people, the smartphones is the hub of communication, social media, banking, and secret conversations. If your partner is having an affair, their device often becomes both their closest companion and their biggest liability. In earlier episodes, we talked about the basic signs. Suddenly adding a passcode, changing an old one without explanation, keeping the phone face down on the table, or taking it into the bathroom and shower. Those are early boundary changes. Now let's move deeper into the specific technical behaviors that indicate something serious is being concealed. Deleting the digital record. When someone's faithfully living the life they claim to live, their digital history might be messy, but it's not curated. There are random texts, old group chats, unimportant emails, pointless searches, the usual digital clutter. By contrast, a partner who is actively hiding another relationship often begins treating their phone like a crime scene. They must constantly clean it. Watch for message threads that appear and vanish, especially with one specific contact. Call logs that are unusually short with frequent gaps or repeated unknown entries. Browsing history that's completely empty or wiped daily. Recently deleted folders cleared out regularly. And if you have the same phone account and if you check the phone log, you might be able to find something there, knowing exactly where to look. Normal people do delete things, but they rarely scrub their phone every night. Frequent targeted deletions is not stress. It is evident management. It means your partner's thinking ahead about what you might see. That isn't absent mindedness. That is strategy. And believe it or not, that is something that they're not going to be able to do every day. So they're going to have a time when they're not able to do it. So either you get tired or he gets tired. Most phones and browsers now offer private or incognito modes. These are useful for many legitimate reasons, such as not wanting your shopping searches to follow you around in ads. However, constant use of private browsing can be a major red flag. Just ask yourself this: do they always or almost always use private mode when on a personal device? Do they quickly close windows or tabs when you walk in the room? Does the history feel too clean for someone that uses the internet daily? Remember, private mode is not just an embarrassing searches. It is also to access web-based email accounts, social media, or messaging platforms without leaving a trace on the device. If your partner's default is invisibility, it suggests that they are hiding an ongoing pattern of behavior, not a one-time curiosity. Modern affairs often require dedicated communication channels, places where messages can be sent, deleted, or hidden with minimal risk. Some of the most common tools are Vaults apps. This looks like innocent utility calculators, notepads, or file managers, but they unlock with a secondary password to reveal a hidden photos or videos or messages. If an app seems unnecessary or has strange permissions, that's worth a second look. Encrypted messaging apps. Apps like Telegram, Signal, or other messaging platforms with disappearing messages and secret chats are not automatically proof of cheating. Many people use them for privacy or work. However, if your partner has one of these apps and never mentioned using it, has it hidden in a folder, or claims to use it for work but can't explain the work contacts or conversations, then this tool may be part of their hidden life. Secondary copies of common apps. Sometimes people install dual apps, two copies of the same messaging or social app to separate their public secret communications. This may appear as WhatsApp Business, Light versions, or icons with slightly different labels. Then there's the same sex contact decoy. This is a clever but common trick. The partner saves the affair's partner number under the name that looks safe on the lock screen and same sex name, a worker title, or something generic like dentist, bank, or work contact. If you see a contact getting a suspicious amount of attention at odd hours, the label doesn't match the pattern of communication. That could be a disguise. The simple change of a passcode is a boundary. The active, repeated management and deletion of data is proof that some part of their life is being kept in the dark. Your job is not to obsess over every notification, but to recognize when normal privacy has turned into a digital fortress. This segment is the social media and online activity. Social media is the playground for emotional affairs and the starting line for many physical ones. Even partners who swear they never cheat may justify private messaging, flirty comments, or lingering online connection as harmless. But to the betrayed partner, this can be just this devastating. Even if your spouse is being careful, their online habits can betray them. Ask yourself, has your partner approach to visibility suddenly shifted? Did they switch their profile from open or friends of friends to highly private with no warning? Did they scrap all photos of the two of you together or untag themselves from your post? Have they suddenly restricted who can see their friend list? likes, or comments. Sometimes people change privacy settings for legitimate reasons, like a job change. But if this shift coincides with other signs, late nights, secrecy, emotional distance, they may be trying to control who can see their interactions with a particular person. Micro cheating sits in the gray area between harmless interaction and full blown affair. It encompasses messages and behavior that your partner knows you wouldn't find inappropriate, but that they justify to themselves as just talking. So, what you want to do is you want to look for a pattern of likes, hearts, or flirty comments on a specific person's post. Inside jokes in public comment threads you're not a part of. Direct messages that become more frequent, longer, or more secretive over time. Emotional intimacy online, sharing personal struggles, venting about you or the relationship, building a dependency. If you confront them at this stage, they may say it's just online or we're just friends. But remember what we discussed in episode one, emotional infidelity can be as dangerous as painful as physical cheating, especially when it involves secrecy and romantic or sexual undertones. One of the more hidden layers of infidelity is the use of alternate accounts, new email address that don't match their usual username patterns, burner social media profiles with minimal friends and carefully curated content, anonymous usernames or dating apps, forums, or chat platforms. Signs this may be happening include email notifications for password resets or new account confirmations you glimpse briefly on shared devices, new usernames they joked about with friends but never really explained, sudden expertise or knowledge about platforms they'd never use. You might notice their phone lighting up with notifications from apps or email providers you didn't even know they had accounts with. Or you might find the search suggestions in a browser hint at logins or usernames unfamiliar to you because the platform has autofill previous activity. The key is a pattern, not paranoia. A single change in privacy settings is not proof of an affair, but when combined with secretive device behavior and unexplained interactions with a specific person, social media becomes an important piece of that digital puzzle. This segment is the financial evidence, the final frontier of undeniable evidence, and often the hardest to refute is the financial paper trail. Affairs cost time, energy, and money. And money, unlike stories, leaves hard numbers. We briefly mentioned new credit cards and unexplained expenses in episode 4. Now we're going deeper into how finances can confirm what digital behavior suggests. New credit cards and unexplained accounts. A sudden, tightly controlled new credit card or bank account should raise questions. Cheaters often create a war chest for the affair, a place where they can pay for hotels, dinners, ride shares, or gifts without drawing attention to the main household accounts. Watch for bank account statements or email confirmations you were never told about, cards you see in the wallet that you don't recognize, defensive or vague answers when you ask simple questions like, when did you get that card? Hotels, bars, restaurants. Not every bar or restaurant is a red flag, but context matters. Are there charges at locations far from their usual commute or daily routes? Are there hotel charges explained as work, but with no corresponding company reimbursement? Are there repeated small charges at the same location during odd times, late nights, weekends, when they claim to be somewhere else? Affairs are often built out of small recurrent rendezvous, a pattern of modest but frequent spending at the same lounge, cafe, or hotel can be more telling than one large, obvious charge, gifts, and purchases that aren't for you. This is one of the most emotional, painful discoveries. Maybe you see a jewelry store receipt for an item you never received, or clothing charges that don't match your size or style. sometimes the purchases are digital. Subscribing gift cards or online orders that you simply never see. If your partner is generous by nature, it can be easy to overlook this at first. But when your birthday or anniversary comes and goes without anything special, while their statements reflect significant spending, it raises a hard question. Who is being celebrated? This next one is the cash withdrawals and payment apps. Cash is the oldest way to hide spending. If your partner suddenly begins making more frequent or larger cash withdrawals, especially before work trips, night outs, or unexplained absences, they may be converting traceable money onto untraceable expenses or untraceable experiences. Payment apps like Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal can also leave a trail. New names in their transaction history, vague or cryptic descriptions like dinner, fun, or just emojis, repeated small transfers to the same person. Sometimes they'll make these transactions private or hidden so they don't appear on shared social feeds. If you do see them, pay attention to the timing and frequency. What about the mileage and fuel? This is an advanced but powerful form of evidence. Cars tell stories. Compare odometer reading against their claimed travel. Look at fuel receipts or card statements to see where gas was purchased. Notice if fuel use spikes without any clear reason for miles, more often at strange hours. So check the mileage from the beginning of the day and then check the mileage at the end of the night and then just do the math. If the car is being driven far beyond normal routine, those miles are going somewhere else. Combining this with the GPS data or map history when available can create a picture that is very hard to explain away. The digital age provides more opportunities to cheat, but it also creates more evidence than ever before. Devices, accounts, and money systems record more than most people realize. When you see an accumulation of these digital behaviors, secrecy, deletion, decoy tactics, and financial footprint that does not match the story you're being told, you are moving from suspicion to knowledge. The evidence we discussed today is sobering, but it's necessary. You do not get here casually. You arrive at this point after weeks, months, or years of feeling something was wrong. Seeing the signs from episodes 1 through 5 and carefully ruling out the false trails of episode 6. If you have found these advanced digital and financial signals, you have the clarity you need. You may not know every detail, who the person is, how long it has gone on, exactly what happened, but you know enough. Enough to realize that the life you thought you were living is not the life you are actually in. The difficult part, discovering and accepting the truth, is over. The next difficult part is the confrontation. In episode 8, the conversation, how to confront and what not to do, we will strategize exactly how to use this evidence. We will talk about preparation before you say a word, how to protect yourself emotionally, practically, and if needed, legally. We will discuss how to phrase your questions using I statements to convey your experience and your pain rather than launching into accusations that shut the other person down. We'll break down how to stay focused, how to resist the urge to argue over every detail in the moment, and how to keep the conversation from exploding into a screaming match that produces heat but no light. This is the ultimate confrontation, not a casual argument, but a turning point in your life. You deserve to walk into that moment prepared, grounded, and clear about what you want to know and what you will and will not accept. Thank you for joining me, Roger Warstone, on the silent language. In the next episode, we move from investigation to conversation, from gathering evidence to speaking your truth. Until then, remember, your need for clarity is not paranoia. It is self protection and knowledge. Even when it hurts, is the first step towards reclaiming your power. We'll see you next time for episode 8. The podcast taught you how to read the signs, the new sense, the hidden expenses, and the physical shifts. But suspicion isn't proof. When the silent language reveals a secret life, you need a professional to document the truth. At Warstone Detective Agency in Philadelphia, we turn your observations into verifiable evidence. Our investigative services, which is surveillance, discreetly documented secret meetings and time theft, infidelity investigations, professional proof for domestic and custody matters, financial forensics, uncovering hidden accounts, divert funds, and the cost of the lie. Contact Detective Roger Warstone. Till next episode.